I don't know. I don't think anybody's gaining anything when people are just making accusations and not actually showing, okay, this is what happened. What do you think about this? What do you think about that? And my issue with it, and what I wanted to get into this video that I'm getting ready to show y'all with RFK Jr., is why what we're seeing is why I oppose war. Why I oppose war. So yesterday I was going through this kind of, I don't want to call it an awakening, but I was, matter of fact, I was doing a deep dive on, is war necessary? Is war necessary? And I think there's that term, violence only begets more violence. And I started just Googling different things. And it was based on the situation between Israel and Palestine, the war. And I came across a whole different, a lot of different things. I wrote down a lot of notes, and we see so many different examples around the world. Let me move this off the screen. Hold on. We see so many different examples across the world of violence, senseless violence in a lot of ways. And when I say senseless or useless or pointless violence in a lot of ways, I'm pretty sure that when this war is over between Ukraine and Russia, a lot of the people that died on both sides will say this was pointless. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people between Israel and Palestine will have the same thoughts. Now, whether the leaders who are out of the way of war, who are out of the way of harm, will acknowledge that, I don't know. But I mean, I guess the perfect example of it is, we've already seen Israel and Palestine going at it. We've seen these things. So it's like, what's the, y'all been beefing for what, 2,000 years? Like, what is the, what's the end game here? What's the end game here? And I'll tell y'all, I went on this rabbit hole of just thoughts. And I was looking at Ukraine versus Russia, Israel versus Palestine, the Bloods versus the Crips, right? It's easy for us to say, like, yo, this is stupid. Look at these dumb Negroes out here beefing over different blocks that they're from. But then we look at Israel and Palestine, and it's like, yo, y'all in the same region. Like, what do y'all be? Democrats versus Republicans. Now, that's a little bit different. But even it got me thinking about, now, I don't know how I got on this thought, but with the reparations argument. And it's like, for a lot of the people that oppose reparations, one of the arguments that they'll make is that, well, the black people, the black Americans that are here now, y'all didn't experience slavery. And the white Americans, European Americans, whatever you want to call them, who are here now, they didn't enslave anybody. All right, cool. But, and maybe this isn't going to be the same level of connection for y'all as it was for me, but then why are we justifying a war between Israel and Palestine that has gone back, what, 2,000 years they beefing over? Like, the land was mine 2,000 years ago, 1,000 years. It's like, maybe we should use that same logic to shut down the reparations argument that we should use to shut down a lot of these other conflicts. How long are we going to have this back and forth? At what point does it end? At what point are we, what does a solution look like? Are we just going to keep killing and killing? Are other countries going to just keep providing weapons, providing support for both groups to just keep killing and killing each other? War, as soon as, and I, y'all know what it is. It's Dak from the OG Network. And I just want to thank y'all. That's right, to thank y'all for all of your tremendous support over the years, whether you've been rocking with us from the beginning or maybe this is the first show that you're checking out on the network. We want to thank you nonetheless. And we have an ask, all right? We have a goal of reaching 20,000 subscribers by the end of March. That's right, 20K by the end of March. It's not a real goal unless you put a date on it. And with that, we need your help. So we ask that if you are enjoying the content that you like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're feeling real generous, maybe share with some friends and family. All right, I'll let y'all go. And once again, thank you for your continued support. And we look forward to growing with y'all. See y'all soon. Ew. it got me actually thinking about the Black Panther movie. And it's funny because the last time we were talking about Black Panther, we were talking about Dr. Umar, and he didn't like the part of the movie or the storyline of the movie where the Black people, it was like the Black people, and I guess you could call them Latinos, Latin people. I don't know, what Hispanic people. I'm just, it's different because it's Black Panther, right? So a lot of those people, like a mother was killed, but then somebody else was killed before. But the Black Panther's mom was killed. So now the new Black Panther, the daughter, she wanted to revenge the death of her mother. But she ended up not killing the person who killed her mother because she knew that it would result in a greater war and maybe some other reasons. Dr. Umar didn't like that. So for me, it got me thinking like, well, if she would have killed that dude, then somebody else would have tried to come for her, and then it would just been a constant back and forth. So you almost have to sit back and realize, like, what are the only ways, like when we ask, is war necessary? Can we prevent wars? Some of the questions that came up for me that I was asking myself is, are you willing to forgive somebody for doing something to you or your loved ones? Are you willing to accept a lesser punishment? Because we're always going to see it as a lesser punishment, right? Somebody does something. Let's say somebody hurts somebody in my family. The punishment is never really, even if that person is hurt in a physical way, it's never going to add up to a justified punishment because I got somebody that's hurt or lost in my family, right? Am I willing to accept the courts handling it and them serving some time and, you know, maybe eventually getting out, or what? Are you willing to accept a lesser get back or no get back for something that was done to you and your loved ones? And if the answer is no, as soon as we say no, we know that we're now entering a cycle to where violence is going to continuously happen until somebody decides to say, nah, I'm not getting no get back. This is pointless. This is stupid. We see it in Game of Thrones. We see it in different neighborhood gangs in America. We see it Israel and Palestine. We see it in a lot of different ways. And to me, it's the first step into the destruction of the world, the destruction of humanity. I don't know what the answer is. I don't know if there is an answer, but I just don't feel comfortable with what's going on. And I don't feel comfortable not voicing my discomfort about what's going on. So I want to play a couple different videos for you. One, starting off with this JFK video, and just get your thoughts on it. We're just going to kind of, let me be very clear. I do not support war. I do not support it because there's no good ending to it. This is not sports where one side wins and the other side loses, and, you know, they still get to, you know, live great lives, and, you know, oh man, we lost the Super Bowl, but we still made a whole lot of money. Life is still good. No, in war, you lose, you die, you lose loved ones. That energy, if you believe in energy, that war energy, the greater the war becomes, the bigger the war becomes, the more that energy is going to be put out to the rest of the world and impact the rest of the world. And I think that's what this speech that RFK Jr. is giving is basically on. Let's take a listen.
Is it any wonder that as America has waged violence throughout the world, violence has overtaken us in our own nation? It has not come as an invasion. It has come from within. Our bombs, our drones, our armies are incapable of stopping the gun violence on our streets and schools, or domestic violence in our homes. I see the same link here as my father and Martin Luther King saw about the Vietnam War. They believed that we could not have warfare abroad without bringing that violence home to our attitudes, to our communities.
I felt like somebody from the heart was telling me this eloquent story that goes back to the 60s, 50s. And as a journalist, covered Iraq, I was in Panama, I've covered the narco wars. I mean, I've covered way too many wars for just one generation. So it was like kind of painfully nostalgic to realize that there was a point in American history when we weren't starting wars. And to have a politician today to remind Americans, I think it's really important to remind people of their own history, because it's easy to like sum up history as one war after another, when in fact often the wars are the aberration.
I have a sense of clarity and honesty from RFK Jr. and his uncle could very well have been the last president who I felt I could trust to pursue peace.
So I thought that was an interesting. Now, obviously, that was RFK Jr. pushing this messaging for his campaign. I don't know if that impacts the way that we look at it, but I wanted to just play that and then play a couple other clips. There was an interesting conversation between Elon Musk and Jordan Peterson, and then I'm going to come back to this. But what is the alternative? What is the alternative? And it seems like we need an alternative. I don't know. What do we play, like a football game to decide how things get done? Maybe that's what it should be. I don't know. Or maybe we just develop certain morals and principles. But the problem with, and even as I'm thinking about it, the problem with excusing behavior and not punishing certain people is that you may be incentivizing certain behavior. But some people would say, well, nah, you're putting out energy that's not going to lead to a cycle of violence. I don't know. I'm just putting this out there for y'all because this is a question that I have. Maybe I shouldn't be concerned with this. Maybe I should just ignore it. Maybe I should just live my own life. I don't know. But it's just like, damn, like when we have disagreements, we just go back to like we advance. We never would want a Series 1 iPhone. If somebody handed us a Series 1 iPhone, we would sit in here like, yo, I don't want this trash. Like, that's trash. Like, I don't want that. I can't deal with, like, what am I going to do with this? But then when we don't advance in society as far as how we deal with each other as humans, like we just go back to these barbaric, animalistic natures. So we don't hold ourselves accountable to advancing in this way, but we hold ourselves accountable to advancing in technology. You get what I'm saying? Hopefully I'm making that point. But it's just disappointing. It's sad and it's scary.
You know, William James said that the modern world needed a moral equivalent to war, right? He investigated the religious realm very, very deeply. And this, I think this was in the varieties of religious experience. And that really had an effect on me because I think that you need something akin to an existential threat in order to set you straight.
I think there's some truth to that.
Yeah.
So that was just, you know, I think that there needs to be, what did he say, a moral equivalence to war? We have to figure out an alternative. We have to figure out an alternative. We can't get caught up on this side is wrong, that side is wrong. Depending on what your life's experience, depending on what you and your people may have gone through, that may alter how you're looking at a situation and placing blame and justifying certain things. But at the end of the day, this is just my opinion. We have to figure out something else. Like there has to be another solution to all of this because RFK Jr. in his video, he's right. Like you can't have war abroad and especially us being involved and then not to see that come back home. And we're seeing that with Mahmoud Khalil. Like it still comes back to America, war in places outside the country. The stuff is still going to come back. The stuff is still going to impact. It's going to just set a bad energy. It puts out a bad energy and justifies something that we should not be accepting, in my opinion. We have to find an alternative. Let me play this clip. And I think this will be one of our last clips. I think, did we touch on everything? Well, I'll check that, but I'll play this clip while I'm checking that.
I'm always pro peace. Like, I totally understand the position of Palestinians who are upset and feel like they're just being, bombed out by the bigger dog. And it's never okay to support more hatred by saying Hitler was right. Similarly, it's not okay for Israel to be killing people in the amounts that they're killing them. And I know people say it's war, but we need to evolve how we do war then.
Yeah, exactly.
And I also look at what's happening and I'm like, okay, well, is this actually solving the problem? Are you not just creating a new generation of radicalized terrorists who are going to strike back at you eventually? So this is just my rough-hewn layperson perspective on it.
It is valid, though. It is.
But it's like, if you eradicate hate with violence, do you actually eradicate it, or you just suppress it for a later day? And that remains to be seen, but it just doesn't feel like a constructive solution to the real problem.
Is it any wonder that as
I agree. So just wanted to, I hate to end the show on that note, but maybe it should be top of mind because we can't be accepting this stuff. We can't be accepting this stuff. And every time, we justify, y'all know what it is. It's Dak from the OG Network. And I just want to thank y'all. That's right, to thank y'all for all of your tremendous support over the years, whether you've been rocking with us from the beginning or maybe this is the first show that you're checking out on the network. We want to thank you nonetheless. And we have an ask. All right. We have a goal of reaching 20,000 subscribers by the end of March. That's right. 20K by the end of March. It's not a real goal unless you put a date on it. And with that, we need your help. So we ask that if you are enjoying the content that you like, subscribe if you haven't already. And if you're feeling real generous, maybe share with some friends and family. All right, I'll let y'all go. And once again, thank you for your continued support. And we look forward to growing with y'all. See y'all soon. Ew. We say this side is right, or this side is right, or this side is wrong, or that side's wrong. We're actually feeding into either side rationalizing their cause and rationalizing why it's okay to kill other people for their cause. So I don't know. It just has to stop. We have to do better. This is just a terrible situation that we're in when we're seeing all of these people die, killed. It's like, for what? What is it causing? It's literally just causing more war. It's causing more resentment. It's causing more hatred. It's going to lead to more destruction to the point where eventually somebody just decides, whether it's God, whether it's the universe and a natural occurrence, whether it's whatever, whether it's God and man pressing a button to destroy the world, whatever eventually it's going to lead to the destruction of our people and the destruction of the entire world. And I think it's easy to kick the can down the road and to say, well, don't have to worry about that. It's easy for us to say that, but also a little bit selfish for us to say that as well. Because think about it. Each generation, when we have kids, we're bringing people into this world. And I would think it's an obligation and responsibility of us to bring kids into the world, bring the next generation into a safer world, into a better world, whatever that means. I would think this would be the priority. And I think that that's something that all of us would want to agree on, that we want to bring our kids and the next generation into a better place than we inherited. What better purpose could we have as humans working together when it comes to this place that we called home, the globe, the world? But yeah, I don't know. I'm kind of stuck with this one. And I think that maybe we should acknowledge that we're stuck on this one rather than just choosing a side and just leaning in, especially if it's just based on what political party we're affiliated with. Yeah, this is a problem. This is a problem for me. So, yeah, war. What is it good for? Absolutely nothing. I'm with you, Joy. All right, so let's wrap up the show. It's already 10:06. Don't want to keep y'all on past 10, so my apologies for that. But let's take the time to now have the most important part of the show, which is our 45 seconds of meditation, manifestation, breath work, whatever it is that you need to give yourself, silence, extreme focus, whatever it is that you need to focus on or put your mind on, travel to put yourself in the best mindset to hopefully accomplish what we set out on Sundays and Mondays to do, which is to make this our greatest week ever. Hopefully, we've been putting ourselves in a position to compete on a Friday in the fourth quarter to make that happen. So 45 seconds, every breath, every exhale, we're exhaling all the negative and creating some space for the positive. So when we're doing these things, when you're taking 45 seconds, take it seriously. Take it seriously. Literally, every exhale, think about it as you getting rid of all the negative thoughts, feelings, um, anything that you have negative that's challenging you from becoming the best version of yourself. Create that space. So therefore, that positive energy, the things that we ask for out of life can be welcomed in. So if you're in a safe place, close your eyes. We're going to begin our 45 seconds now. All right, one more. Get a good exhale. Get a good exhale. So breathe in. Then we're going to exhale all that negative. Inhale all that positive. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know what we come here to do. Elevate on purpose, both from an intentional standpoint, raising our standards to become the best leaders we can become, to lead by example, to become the change that we want to see in the world. We're going to have to raise our standards and to grow and develop into the people that we need to in order to accomplish and set out to accomplish those outlandish, absurd goals. And maybe one of the goals is achieving world peace with humanity. So that would definitely be one of those goals that people say is arrogant, absurd, perhaps obnoxious. You can't achieve world peace. Yeah, all that. Let's just raise our standards and be the change that we want to see in the rest of the world. Strength and honor, onward and upward. Y'all know throughout the week, we're getting to that bag. Now, what do we mean when we say getting to that bag? Most of y'all know, but to those who don't, we're talking about all the little things that are going to add up and make sure that we're aligned with the proper trajectory of achieving our purpose as we strive for purposeful abundance. So y'all got to decide what's in y'all bag, what's in my bag. Peace, love, happiness, health, wealth, and in everything we do, integrity. Do me a favor, like on your way out, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Share the live with some friends and family. Share the live with some friends and family. And if I don't see y'all over the weekend, we may have our Soul Food Sunday. Not sure yet. But if I don't see y'all over the weekend, y'all have an amazing weekend. Finish out Friday. Finish out Friday strong. We owe it to ourselves, and we'll thank ourselves over the weekend by taking a second to relax, catch up with some family, and just regroup. All right. On that note, I'll see y'all soon. Ew.